You destroy somebody's place of safety, that is a horrible, horrible sin to have to account for. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Michael Voris Show. That's me. I'm your host, Michael Voris. I'd like to talk about something we don't really think about that much these days, but what's the most basic human need do you think everybody has? I'd say it's universal. Everybody has this need, not eating. I'm talking in the material world. Talking the material. Interiorly, what is it that every single person really longs after? Take a guess. Well, everybody wants to be important to somebody. Yeah, it's true. Is it the most basic thing? Everybody wants to be loved. Yeah. Most important thing? Everybody wants to be understood. Everybody wants to be accepted. Yeah, those are all important things too. But let me suggest to you that the most basic thing that every single human being wants is to feel safe, is to be safe. Safe is sort of the underpinning of everything. If you're safe because you're loved. If you're safe because you correctly perceive yourself to be understood and accepted and all these sorts of things. Nothing can harm you. That's really the bottom line of being safe. You are taken care of. You are provided for. Anything that might harm you is kept at bay. It has no access to you. I mean, what I've just described is heaven. So the longing of man's heart is to be protected and safe, and nothing can harm you. Nothing can touch you ever again. When my mom died, the morning of the funeral, I was just getting ready in my bedroom and some stuff on it, and I thought to myself, wow, because I think I've shared before, my mom had quite a struggle emotionally with a lot of stuff owing to her being a rape victim much earlier in her life when she was just a new mommy. So at 20 years old, that impacted her whole life a little bit. It really it was extremely difficult for her to live through to live life post the rape. It was really extraordinarily traumatic for her. And it dictated an awful lot of what happened to her in her life and how she responded to things in her life and that sort of thing. And I always kind of express it as, you can't really control the hand you're dealt. The hand you're dealt is the hand you're dealt. The only thing you can really control is how you play it. And let's face it, if you play poker at all, if you have a really crappy hand, or if you sit at a blackjack table in a casino, for example, and you're like, oh gosh, here we go again, 14, 15, 12, the kiss of death, 12. And you just get fed up. You just get fed up and you start breaking the rules, and you're like, hit me, and you shouldn't, and boom, you bust, or you don't, and the dealer rolls over a 19 and you get screwed that way too. You just sort of feel like there's nothing I can do right, no matter what happens, because I keep getting these crappy cards, whether it's poker or blackjack or whatever it is. No matter what I do, it turns out wrong. When you're in that sort of situation, you don't feel safe. Now, in a gambling situation, obviously you're bet. You don't feel safe about your bet. You think, I'm going to lose the money. But expanding the example, the analogy to greater, to life. If you don't feel safe, protected, free from harm, particularly psychologically, you can go off the rails PDQ pretty damn quick. And if that's the case, many things in life are extremely difficult for people to deal with. You can get into, if you don't feel safe, so what do? You go looking for safety. You go looking, as they say, looking for love in all the wrong places. I'd change the words of that song and say you're looking for safety in all the wrong places. You're looking for something to come in and protect you. If the motive of that protection is love, which at its highest form it would be, that's great. but you just need to sort of be able to step away and just feel safe for some reason. So we have, safety havens. There's just all kinds of mental processes you go through to if you can't get safety, if you can't feel safe in your natural environment, at home, for example, if you're a child, your mom or dad or both are alcoholics or drug users or something like that, well then, you know what? You're going to be out the door looking for safety somewhere else. You're not going to sit there and subject yourself to the degree that you can get away. Maybe a 5-year-old can't, but 15, 16, 17-year-olds they're going to hit the bricks and go. They're not going to subject themselves to being hurt, injured, not safe. They don't know if they go home. And you think about the same thing like with the case of like sexual abuse. Young girl or young boy not feeling safe at home because Uncle Jim or the dad or whoever is all of a sudden decides that, hey, here's an easy mark. You just don't feel safe. So people will run from an unsafe situation and they will look for something else to make them safe. This is the great damage of betrayal, for example, in the church, that people should feel safe in the church. Valued, treasured, with various members of the hierarchy, for example, preaching that correctly preaching, at least preaching that that each person's individual, created by God, irrepeatable and made in the image and likeness of God and endowed with a spark of the divinity, but all that and everything. It's all absolutely true. And when you believe that, and then the rug gets ripped out from under you because some horrible actor or actors in the church, first the crime, then the cover-up. That's the great horror of the sexual abuse cover-up. I mean, think about the sexual abuse crimes. The same thing is true of liturgical abuse. And, you've been told something, you've sort of built your life around, this truth. And this truth is safe and comfortable because it's supposed to be. It's not some psychological, misnomer. It's not some psychological, comfort zone that isn't really real. It is real. The Eucharist is the body and blood of our blessed Lord. And for, you to invest yourself in that truth, and it is true, and then have somebody who is in charge of that somehow diminish that to you, well, all of a sudden you don't feel safe in your belief anymore. Why have so many people walked out of the Catholic Church? Because they don't feel safe in it. Ultimately, I don't mean necessarily from physical sexual abuse, they don't feel safe psychologically in the church. They're never told the truth, which is bad on those priests and bishops who did that. But if they did hear something of the truth, and then it changes, what's being said to them changes, or how they see it being presented changes, that's a great upsetment. It's a betrayal of the spirit, somebody's soul. It's a betrayal of a soul. And you need to be able to plug into a level of safety. You can't be harmed. That's damaging. It's harmful to a human being to have their worldview based on divine truth all of a sudden be shattered. However it's shattered, liturgically, morally, financially, sexually abusive, whatever the case is. So how is somebody supposed to deal with this? Well, what do? They go looking. In the case of somebody not feeling safe religiously, what do? They either leave religion altogether because they just sort of do a big, broad brush and say, well, it all sucks. Or they go to another religion. What are they doing? They're looking around for some place to be safe. The fact that each person might self-determine what their safety zone is doesn't matter. What does matter is that they've left the actual sanctuary of safety because they were betrayed, and now they feel harmed. Correctly, they feel harmed. And this is an awful lot to ask somebody to process. Maybe somebody doesn't have as much education about something. Maybe they don't have as much understanding. Maybe they didn't have the right mentor or guide in place to be able to talk to them about that, yes, there are human failures, for example, in the church. So off they go. They walk out the door and they go literally God knows where. This is why it's very hard to, we can never pass judgment on somebody's response to an evil done to them. We can pass judgment on what they're doing is not right, certainly. You can't leave the church and then go become an atheist and have people applaud you for that. I mean, but you can't judge them and say, well, yeah, they should never do it. Well, true, they should never do it, but how culpable are they? You weren't, it's the famous expression, you can't walk in another man's shoes. Unless you walk in another man's shoes, you can't judge them. You don't know what was going on in that person's life. You pray for them. You certainly reach out to them. You try to construct a world of some kind of safety zone for them as much as you can. I mean, you can't do this for everybody, certainly, and it's a lot to ask of people because people have their own stuff going on. But we can't just simply pass judgment on somebody's motives for doing something because you don't know what the motives are. You can say objectively, in the object of what is being done, that inside that sandbox, that is wrong. Perfectly. But their motive for it, you don't know what their motive for it was. Even if they say, I did this because of blah, 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 you don't know that. They may not be being honest with themselves because they don't want to go in their mind and their psychology to this place of great hurt where they felt safe and it was wiped out. Now they might not be able to, because of that, they might not be able to ever strike up a decent relationship, human relationship in their lives ever again. They're damaged now in their view of God. And so they kind of rebel against them and they're angry and all these sorts of things. You destroy somebody's place of safety. That is a horrible, horrible sin to have to account for. Thank you for watching The Michael Voris Show. If you'd like to watch the entire episode, please head over to churchmilton.com and sign up as a premium member. If you need to sign up to become a premium member, go to churchmilton.com/go premium.